Hey everyone, my name is Anna Carol Maston and I am the Activity and Volunteer Coordinator here at Person County Senior Center. Today we're going to be doing a very fun springy craft that I'm excited to share with you all, which is a plastic spoon tulip craft. I'll kind of show you an example of one that I made. This is a super fun, super easy craft to do at home. Again, it gets you kind of in the spring spirit as we're quickly approaching springtime. So this is a really fun craft to do at home and here as well. So I'm going to walk you all through what you need, how to do it, and we're just going to take you all through the craft. So I went ahead and started it out and just painted the base layer of the canvas, but the materials that you will need for this are a canvas, glue gun so you can glue down your stems, your spoons, and your leaves. You'll need some ribbon, and then I went ahead and just kind of pre-cut out stems. I did like a stem layout online and just printed it on green paper to make it easier on me because I knew that I would probably not be able to freehand cut out stems. So I just went ahead and pre-cut out some stem looking things just to go ahead and have them ready to go and prepared. You'll of course need some paint brushes, and then you will need a little thing to put the paint in. And then for paint, you will need white paint, pink paint, green, and blue. And then last but not least, you will need 4 plastic spoons for this. So wherever you want to buy, these are the clear plastic spoons. White ones, so the white spoons work as well too, but I just got 4 clear plastic spoons. So those are the ingredients you'll need, and then you'll of course want a cup of water so you can put your paint brushes in after you use them. So we're gonna get started. As I said, I already went ahead and painted my canvas because I felt like it was very self-explanatory. But the first step that you're going to do in this craft is you are going to paint your canvas blue first, and then after that's dried, then you will go through and you will do like little white streaks, which is supposed to mimic clouds. So you'll just kind of do that all across. There's no rhyme or reason for how it's supposed to look. It doesn't have to look a certain way. It's all up to you and your creativity and your imagination is what I like to tell everyone that joins my craft classes, is that it's all unique to you. It does not have to look a certain way. As long as you like it and you think it looks good, that's all that matters. There's no like competition here or anything like that. So this is all just for fun. So again, you want to first start out by going through with your blue paint and then going through with some white paint and just kind of creating little cloud-like streaks through it. And then once that's dried, we will continue with our craft. So first things first, I'm going to go through and paint my 4 plastic spoons now. So you will what I'm going to go through and do first, and I'm going to paint the stem of the spoon, which is the handle, all green. So you're going to paint the whole handle green because that's supposed to look like the stem of a flower. So we are going to get into that, and I kind of like doing a thicker brush for this because I think obviously it'll save up time if you use a thicker sort of brush. So we're going to go through and see. Let me see if it's a good thicker brush here that I can use. I'm going to use this. Dip it in the paint, and then just start coloring it on the plastic spoon. And what I've learned is that you might have to do a few coats of this because it does look a little streaky on the plastic spoon. So always use more than necessary. I think a good generous amount of coats is the best way for it to look its best. So again, this is a great craft idea, especially if you have grandchildren. This is a good one to show them to do at home. Doesn't take much, like I said, really just getting, your little paint supplies, but then just some plastic spoons, and then you're good to go. So it's really not a super expensive craft to make by any means. And like I said, the materials are not that crazy either. So, and a lot of this you probably already have at home too, which is really nice. So just going through painting this. And a tip, if you want your paint to dry quicker, I always recommend is if you have a hair dryer. This is a great hack if you want your paint to dry faster, is to use a hair dryer because it obviously speeds up the process of drying. But I am using acrylic paint, so it doesn't take very long to dry anyway. But in case you're on a time crunch and you ever want to dry it, I highly recommend getting a hair dryer to make it dry quicker. So I'm just going through and painting each of the stems. Again, you're just trying to paint the whole handle because it's supposed to look like the stem of a flower, and as many coats as you can on it, I highly recommend doing, just to make sure you get all of it down. just going through and just getting more of it done. Again, it kind of just takes a little bit of time, but just kind of wanted to show you all through the process. But we're just going in and filling up that green. I highly recommend doing all the green first, just because you that way can just get through all the green and you're not having to switch between two different colors. So just kind of painting all the stems first. And gloves, of course, if you don't want to get any paint on your hands. Obviously this paint is easy to get off, but if you don't want any on your hands, you can of course wear gloves as well so you don't have any on your hands. But this is also very easy to get off too, with just a little soap and water. It does not take much. Again, just going through and trying to coat this craft, sure it looks good. Again, it might take a few coats because it does look a little streaky with the plastic spoons. So once that's done, put this down in here. And now while I let that dry, I'm going to put the stems down on the canvas. So I'm gonna let this dry, but again, if you're on a time crunch, you can use a hair dryer or any other thing that you can think of to kind of speed up the drying process. So again, I went ahead and cut out and printed out some stems so it would save me time. So just went ahead and did that. So now I'm gonna put 3 stems on the canvas. And you'll kind of want to try to see. So 3 stems, and I'm gonna try and kind of lay it out like how I want it to look. So just gonna kind of first see how I want to lay them out, and obviously try to center it as much as possible in the picture of the canvas. Center it as best as you can. So once you kind of figure out, this is where your hot glue gun comes in. So I have a wireless hot glue gun, but anyone works. So I'm gonna let this heat up really, really quickly, and then we will get started. But just kind of aligning your stems to how you like it. So I'm just trying to see how best it looks on the board here, and just make sure everything looks good, but this will give it time for this to dry. And then while we're doing that, I'm also gonna go ahead and paint the pink part now. The pink part is the actual spoon part, which is supposed to look like the tulip. So next you're gonna go in with your pink and paint the top half of it, which is like your tulip looking part of your flower, which is the full spoon part. So again, this is also something that you're probably gonna have to do quite a few coats of, because again, just with the flower itself, it just can be a little streaky. So you kind of wanna go in as much as you can with many coats as possible of this. But I'm gonna let that dry for just a second. I just wanted to start a little bit of it, but I'm gonna go in with my hot glue gun and start gluing down the stems on the canvas. So whatever you have, if you rather use a glue stick, that completely works too. Whichever form of gluing you wanna use, glue gun, glue stick, does not matter, whichever works best for you, whatever you have already will do. So I will say with glue guns, I don't love that it leaves strings everywhere. So that's the only thing I don't like about glue guns, is the stringy aspect of it that it leaves behind. So that is when a glue stick will be a bit easier and better, but still gets the job done. So glue this first one down. Try the best that I can to get it where I want it. Like I said, trying to keep them all placed like how I imagined it to be. So pull that down. I'm gonna go in with my second stem and glue that one down. Sometimes, another thing, if you are using a glue gun, make sure you have extra glue sticks available, because you will run out of them quicker than you think you will. So got another glue stick for my glue gun here. And we're just gonna go through. Again, the only thing about glue guns is they do just leave a stringy residue behind, but otherwise they are great. And they dry very fast when using a glue gun. So, but this is really fun. I always love hearing everyone's crafts that they do with their own children and kind of different things that they find on Pinterest. I love using Pinterest. It is a great way for me to come up with new ideas and look for new ideas, because otherwise I'd be probably completely lost on different craft ideas to do each month. But I love using Pinterest. But then a lot of people also just give me great ideas too, just from things that they know or have done before in the past. So again, with the string of the glue gun, it's not the best, but you know, make do with what we can. So we go in with this one. Pull it back, all this string on me. All right, we're gonna glue the last stem down. Again, you just need 3 stems. And what I did is I just found, like, I looked up flower stem online on like Google, and I just printed it out on green paper and just cut it out, because personally I didn't think I could freehand cut out a stem just on my own. So that's what I would highly recommend for the stems. If you're not very confident in trying to just freehand cut it, I would highly recommend looking up a flower stem layout design online on Google and just printing it out on green paper, because that's what I did, and it made the process of that much easier. So this is what it should look like now. You have your 3 stems glued down onto your canvas. Next, we're going to continue with painting our plastic spoons. We are now doing the pink again, just to do is mimicking the tulip part of the flower. So you're going to do pink all on the actual spoon part of it. And like I said, it might take a few coats because it will look a little streaky against the plastic. So again, be as generous as possible you can with this, because you want it to look as much like a flower, a tulip, as possible. So going through this as many times as needed, getting as many coats as we can of this. So just going through. Again, more coats is always better than needed, because you just want it to look as good as possible. And just going through with each spoon, gluing it down. I love easy, simple crafts like this. I never thought I'd be a craft person, but really it's just, as long as I have instruction and guidance of how to do a craft, it's actually very simple. I always was very intimidated by doing crafts, but it's like, in reality, as long as you have good instructor and direction of how to do things, it really is not that hard. So I have really enjoyed doing this. Really easy to make and do. Again, great to do at home, because the majority of this stuff you probably already have at your house, so you really don't need to buy, if not many items, then just 1 or 2, because you may already have everything you need here. So very, very easy, simple. I also find it very therapeutic to paint things. I think it's very nice and relaxing to do as well, and just gives you something to do with your hands, free up your time a bit. Like I said, I know a lot of people who maybe are retired enjoy doing stuff like this just to keep them busy, or if they have young grandchildren that they maybe are keeping during the day and they want to kind of give them something to do. This is a great idea. So just going through as quick as I can with this. Again, use your hair dryer or whatever else you have as a means of drying if it is taking too long for you and you're on a time crunch, or if you just aren't patient and you don't want to wait. That is totally understandable too. So again, just going through with as many coats as possible. I'll try to bring the camera up close when I'm done so you can kind of see how it's looking and how it's supposed to look. Let's see. Almost done with this 4th one here. Again, just trying to get as much of it as you can down. And then once you're done, drop that down in there. And then I'm going to come and see if I can pull this up closer for you just to see how it's supposed to look. So this is kind of what your plastic spoon should look like. As you can see, you've got the green on the handle and then the pink on the spoon part to make it look as much like a tulip as possible. So again, I love this idea, and I love finding things on Pinterest and everything to figure out and do. So that one's really cool. Now we need to give it a second for it to dry, but next what we're gonna do is pretty much just glue them down on top of the stems on our canvas. But first, we also will be doing a ribbon. You'll have a ribbon tied on top of it like so. So I would highly recommend any sort of pink ribbon that you have. I have sort of darker pink ribbon that I'm gonna use to make a little bow. Very simple. And then once it's ready, we will just hot glue, a little bit of hot glue on the back of this and just kind of put it down on top of it. So that's the plan, just using a little ribbon. I already made mine, as you can see, just a little bow. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but again, completely up to you and how you want to do it. It does not have to look like this. It can be something completely different. This is always just used as guidance for anyone who just needs some extra guidance for their craft, but it does not have to look like this. So let's see, hoping the string has come off of here. Let's see. Next, we're gonna get into gluing these down. So let's see, I'm gonna start with this one, again, if they're not fully dry, thankfully acrylic paint does not take very long, so it will not be much. So I'm gonna start kind of just trying to see how I want to lay it out. Just looking and seeing, okay, does this work or is this better? Just kind of following what looks good for you. So going through and seeing, and again, if you are not comfortable with getting paint on your hands, you can always wear gloves. Is always a good option for that. So I went ahead and put them down, and next I'm going to hot glue the part on the handle. So I'm going to hot glue the handle part of it on the front side where the spoon is like this, because you're going to place it down like that. So you want to make sure you're hot gluing the handle as best as you can. Again, it does get stringy because it is a hot glue gun, but again, you want to do it with your spoon is like this because you're placing it down on this side. So I'm going to put it down, and then you're going to do that with the other three as well. Just going through. And then just placing it down like so. Doing two more. And then last one, getting it glued down. Sometimes this glue gun does not really want to cooperate with me, but I try my best to make it work. All right. Now, this is what it should look like after you have glued these spoons on top of the stem. Looking very nice. And then the last thing that you're going to do is take your bow that you made out of your ribbon, and you are going to hot glue on the back of it, on the back little part of it. And then you are just going to stick it down, kind of like in the middle, sort of right here, I would say, sort of right in the middle of it, not super far down, right in the middle. And then here you go. This is what it should look like. This is your plastic spoon tulip craft. Again, super fun and easy spring craft to do that you probably already have most of the materials at your house, so it really does not require much. If you do have to go buy something, it will not take that much or very expensive. So great craft to do at home or with your grandchildren or children that you have. So highly recommend this. Again, let me know if there's any other craft ideas that you all have, but thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in our next video. Thank you guys.